And there was this little punk ass kid named Tony that my brother didn't like, but my brother didn't want to beat him up because he was younger, so he had me come and do it for him.
So this is the Tony that stabbed him, right?
This is the Tony that stabbed him.
Damn. Yeah, no, it's great that we had this podcast and that we can just have guests on like you and just...
What's up?
Yeah, I always felt like... we always felt like you just have like an interesting perspective on life and you have an interesting childhood, especially you share it with her husband Joseph and everything. But like, I mean, just starting out, like, how did you meet Joseph? Like, was it just at school? Was it through childhood?
No,
what is it?
I was supposed to beat up Joseph's friend, going back to the whole fight thing. Because my older brother, I was in a different elementary from Joseph at the time, but his older brother went to the same school as my older brother. And my brother would always come over to his house, and there was this little punk ass kid named Tony that my brother didn't like, but my brother didn't want to beat him up because he was younger, so he had me come and do it for him.
So this is the Tony that stabbed him, right?
This is the Tony that stabbed him.
Damn.
Ironic.
That's crazy. So you had like a natural instinct to like kick this guy's ass.
No,
that later in the future would stab Joseph. And
it would have made sense if he said me, but Joseph was his friend.
I know.
So that was
weird.
like, oh, he crazy. That's
yeah.
right.
Well,
crazy.
so he had a collapsed lung. I did not know if he was gonna survive, and so you were about to kick this guy.
Yeah.
So you guys never.
So this is in the past. This is like.
So I went over to
kids.
Joseph. Yeah, I went over to Joseph's house, and I was like, dude, this guy's weird. Like, he's just so big and tall, and then
are you big
he had
and
a
tall?
chicken.
Are you big and tall? Are you the same size as him at the time?
No, I think I was smaller than him. He was just lanky.
Oh.
And then the guy, when I came over to Joseph's house, I was supposed to fight Tony, but Tony didn't want to fight. So then,
what is he saying? Like, no, man.
he's like, no. He was in Joseph's room, and I kept making fun of him, trying to like
Call him out.
Are
call
you
him out.
scary at this point?
Nah, I wasn't scary. I just like to fight.
And what would you do? Like yell at him, like, "Hey, Tony, get your ass
I was
out here! I'm
like,
gonna kick your ass!" Like something like that.
Acting like a little girl.
Is that how you're talking? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your
Hey,
ass.
stop being
And
a
he's
little
like
bitch. That's what probably he said.
Yeah, I took it a little too far, but we ended up not fighting. And then Joseph was like, dude, what the hell? I was like, I came all this way. Like, I wanted to fight. And then Joseph was like, I'll fight you. And then something happened where Joseph brought out a bowl of food.
Aww.
And that's kind of how we start hanging out.
Bonding.
Yeah, we bonded through like a bowl of rice.
Oh,
that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And then it wasn't until we went to junior high, then we saw each other. Then we started hanging out with each other a little bit more. I was come over his house, watch Dragon Ball, and eat up all his mom's food. Like, he would have like 10 people over his house.
Oh.
Dang,
and then we'll eat up all his food. His mom will give us the dirtiest look. Because he was the only one that had like cable TV to watch Dragon Ball.
Oh.
So that's why we came over.
Oh, shit.
So Joseph's place was the hangout.
Yeah.
After school.
After school hangout.
Yeah. Because
he told me that even when he was sick, he had people coming over. You know, usually when you're like sick, you don't have anyone over.
Yeah.
They're
but
there
most
all
of the time we hung out at David Young's house, which is the other friend that lived down the street. His house was a little different. Because his mom died at a young age and his dad wasn't there. So the only person that raised him was his brother. And it was like during a time where like, gangs were prevalent at the time. So we didn't know. We were pretty innocent. We were like junior high, elementary. No, I think it was more junior high. And then we would hang out in his room. And his older brother would have like huge ass parties with all these girls and shit. We were like, hey, what's going on out there? And they would keep peeking, and then they'll see us, and they'll have these boxing matches. Like, they'll bring out gloves. That's the reason why we love to fight so much, because we started at a fun age.
Very gangster.
Very.
So they'll have these boxing gloves, and we would look outside, and they would fight each other. And then they saw us looking. It was like, hey, why don't you come outside and party with us? We're like, sure.
Yeah, man.
I never drank alcohol before. Let's do this. And they'll have us.
the Henny.
Yeah, they'll have us fighting each other. And
how old are you guys at this point?
Junior high.
Oh, junior high.
How old are junior highs nowadays?
Well,
how old? Like 13?
13,
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Yeah, we started pretty early.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we partied pretty early too.
Mm-hmm.
We started then. They liked us. We started coming along with David's older brother, because David, older brother, and David are really close. So everywhere his older brother went, he went.
Mm.
But we're with David, so we come along too. And that's kind of how
They're
we
like,
got
"Come
introduced
on,
to that scene.
Come on, little minions.
Yeah, it was fun
They're
though.
youngins, right?
How many of the crew of you? Like
Us as a
like
a whole,
yeah, like just junior high kids hanging out with
we
David's
had
older
like
brother.
10,
Wow.
It's a pretty big
10,
group.
15.
It's quite an entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you lived in what city are you representing?
Westminster.
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 Not too far from Fountain Valley.
Yeah,
No,
but
not
down the street.
totally different feel over there. I mean, especially back in the day, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
It wasn't as bad. It's like if you hang out with a bunch of knuckleheads, eventually you're gonna run into other knuckleheads.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. There's good kids that lived in like coming out of Garden Grove and Westminster.
I believe that.
Yeah.
We were just the bad kids.
Mm-hmm. You guys got in trouble.
It was cool to be bad.
It was cool to be.
Don't you think it was a little safer to be bad sometimes at times?
Yeah, cause kind of I don't know how's it with girls, but with guys, you walk around, you just know not to fuck with that person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we always carry like we had to be tough. That's just the environment we grew up in.
Well, it's like a survival thing over there.
Yeah, it's more like it was also fun for us too because we started boxing and fighting. We started taking karate and all that at a really young age. So we're used to sparring each other, and that's kind of like the thing we did too. Like we'll come over to David's house and we'll practice our jiu-jitsu. And then as we had gloves, so we'll practice on each other. We'll fight each
Sounds
other.
like a clan to me.
It was just
right?
something to do.
It's something to do.
So people are into basketball, football. We're into
Yeah,
boxing and fighting and just like mixed martial arts.